All right. Hello, my friends. Welcome back. We've got a great lesson, of course, because we've already examined the deck variable in detail previously. So that means in this video, we're going to drop this variable from the data set. So we're going to start, well, without taking up any more time. So the ChatGPT message section contains a summary of our transactions so far. Now we're going to write what we want it to do next. So within this context, I'm going to ask this question. I want to drop the deck variable from the dataset permanently. Can you write the required code? Sounds pretty clear to me. Let's send it. And here come the answers. So it's pretty simple, right? It writes a very short code. Since we used the drop function before, I'm not going to explain it. I'll just transfer the code here and paste it directly into the notebook. Okay, so you see this? I'm copying the code, pasting it into the notebook on the right. Now we can run it. So it drops the variable. Now let's call the data set again. And I wrote the variable above and applied the head method. All right, so you can see it's dropped the variable from the data set. So what's next? Yeah, so as you know, there are 177 missing values in the age variable. So I want to fill in these missing values. But wait, how do we fill it in, right? Just make up the numbers? No. I'm setting up an algorithm like this. I will examine the age variable according to the p-class variable. Remember, there is no missing value in the variable p-class. But what was the variable p-class? The variable represents the passenger class. It's a categorical variable with 3 levels: first class, second class, and third class, 1, 2, 3. So in this context, I will look at the age ratios in the classes. And since there are no missing values, I'll determine the average age corresponding to each class. You follow? Then I'll fill in the missing values according to the averages. Yeah. So first, as a result, let's visualize a p-class variable according to the age variable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask ChatGPT for this, like this. Considering the data set above, I want to examine the p-class variable according to the age variable. Can you write the required visualization code? All right, so I'm going to send that in, see what comes back. All right, we're getting the answer, so let's wait for it to finish. And my friends, here we go. The ChatGPT stated that we could use the box plot graphic for this request. And it writes the codes right here. So here we see that it calls the box plot from the Seaborn library. And yeah, there's going to be a p-class variable on the x-axis and an age variable on the y-axis. And at the bottom, we see the axis and title names of the chart being set. Yeah, and finally, let's examine the bottom part. And here it gives the information about the graph. All right, so we need to examine the following part to understand the logic of the box plot graph, though. So this code will create a box plot with the p-class variable on the x-axis and the age variable on the y-axis. Each box represents the distribution of ages for a specific passenger class. The box's horizontal line represents the median age, while the box's lower and upper edges represent the 25th and 75th percentiles, respectively. Any points beyond the whiskers indicate potential outliers. Okay, so that sounds good. So we can now transfer these codes over to our notebook. I'm going to take the following part and copy, so I'll be able to paste it into the code cell on the right. Let's run that code. All right, we'll check it out. We've got box plot graphics. So now we get to ask the next necessary question to ChatGPT. We're going to ask it to analyze it. So I'll come back over here to the message section and write something like, can you analyze the box plot according to the above code output? And let's send that message in. Now we've got some answers starting to show up. We can wait for it. Now, if we're going to examine the analysis, it says how we should examine the box plot graph in the first place. So in fact, I'll skip this part because I mentioned this above, right? This is the part that interests us. So you see what ChatGPT says about the chart. Passengers in Class 1 generally have a more comprehensive range of ages compared to the other classes. The median age for passengers in Class 1 is higher than for passengers in Classes 2 and 3. Passengers in Class 2 tend to have a slightly narrower age range compared to Class 1. Class 3 passengers have the widest range of ages with a median age lower than the other classes. All right, my friends, so hey, we get to transfer this information into our notebook. And I'm just taking the relevant code from here and pasting it in by opening up a markdown cell on the right. And to make that output look nice, I am going to just edit the text into item titles. All right, so now that all that's ready, we can run the code. That's pretty excellent output, wouldn't you agree? Of course. So we've interpreted this image. However, our primary goal here is to look at the average age according to the P-class variable. Then we're going to fill in the blanks according to this average age. So, what do you think? In this context, we'll now do our main work. We're going to ask about the average age according to the variable P-class. So, we'll go back to the message section and write something like, according to the box plot chart above, what is the average age variable for each value of the P-class variable? All right, is that clear? I think so. Let's see what ChatGPT thinks. And here come the answers. Oh, and ChatGPT leaves a nice note here. To determine the average age for each value of the P-class variable based on the box plot, we can look at the median age represented by the line inside of each box. The median age is a reasonable estimate of the central tendency of the age distribution within each passenger class. So, like we said, average. But it says the median value would be a more useful measure of central tendency. Okay, so in this context, we base the median value. Let's take it. So let's see what range is the average median value. And here we are, my friends, for Class 1. The median age is around 35 to 40. So I'm just going to consider 38 as the average age. And let's continue. For Class 2, the median age is somewhere between 25 and 30. So here I'll want to use 28 for the average age for the null values. Yeah. And finally, for Class 3, the median age is 20 to 25 years. So why don't we set the average age to be 23? Okay, so below it gives some information as a note, and anybody who wants to can just pause and review. You can read it to your heart's content in your own time, because I want to move on and transfer the information here into the notebook. So look at this. I'm going to copy the relevant part from here and opening a cell in markdown format on the right, I'll paste it in. And I want to put an asterisk in the following sections to make the output look as excellent as can be. And we'll run the code. Excellent work, my friends. So now we're going to fill in the blank values in the age variable according to the information that we got. So in this context, I want to ask a new question over here to ChatGPT. So let's prepare the message like this. First, I'll thank ChatGPT, right? And say, thanks, ChatGPT, for your answers. See, so now we can write the rest of the message, which would be something like, now, based on your answer, I made the following decision. I want to fill in the age variable. In this context, I want to fill this value with 38 if the age variable is empty for P-class value 1. 28 if the age variable is empty for P-class value 2, and 23 if the age variable is empty for P-class value 3. Can you write the required code? All right, so I think that's clear. Let's send it in. And here comes a cavalcade of answers. So we'll wait for it to finish. Wow. Okay, so this code looks exquisite. Let's have a look. So it says that we could use the fill_NA function to fill the values, and it wrote the code below. Let's have a look at the code's description. What does it say? The code defines a dictionary fill values where the keys represent the passenger class values, 1, 2, and 3, and the corresponding values represent the ages to fill for each class. Then it iterates over the rows of the Titanic DF data frame and checks to see if the age value is missing. PD dot is null row H. There's the formula right there. If it is, it fills the age value based on the passenger class using the fill_NA function. Yeah. So I'm going to transfer this code directly to our notebook using this context. Okay, so I'll copy all this and paste the entire code into the cell on the right, and we can run the code. All right, so my friends, look at this. We've now filled in the blank values in the age variable, just like we wanted to. So now let's transfer the information here to the notebook, and I'll just take this part, open up a markdown format cell on the right, and paste all that in. Let's run that code. Now let's see the null values in the whole data set again. All right, so I'm going up here to save a little time and just get the whole code that we wrote before. Scroll down and paste it into the cell. Now we can run the code. Yeah, my friends, most excellent. You see this? There is no null value in the variable age. Okay, there's only one null value left in one variable. Remember which one? Yeah, the Embarktown variable has 2 empty values. But you know what? Let's save that for the next video. So let's wrap it up here, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.